fond spot in my heart for two places. One of them is here, and one is with Sioux Falk in Virginia. You on the East Coast were the first ones to accept me as a very legitimate presenter of the Dharma and enable me to spread the Dharma further. So I always will come here to present the Dharma. This is something that's important. I have from my practice, I only think about spreading the Dharma and finding different ways to present it to you. I have thought many times already how I would begin this series of lectures. We have a very short time, but yet it's not just a one-day retreat. We have time to explore things a little bit more. But what's important to me is to condition you to be able to accept the Dharma in a way that will not only benefit you, but will encourage you to spread it to others. The encouragement comes from understanding the Dharma and realizing how precious it is. And in this preciousness, it enables us to have faith that we know that when we speak of the Dharma, we speak of something so incredibly valuable. In this day and age, there's so many things that people consider valuable. And when you think of what's valuable, people will think, oh, this giant diamond is valuable, or this bar of gold is valuable, or this handsome man or beautiful woman, those are very precious, whatever it is, but they're all from samsara. The true gift is something that enables us to awaken from samsara. And therein kind of lies the contradiction, because is there an awakening? We start first from somewhere where you may not have ever started before. What is mind? Have you ever given that great thought? I mean, not just to talk about mind from the Dharma point, but what is mind? What is mind? We're not talking about consciousness. What is mind? It's very interesting what happens when we begin to look at mind. Words fail us. Conceptions fail us. There's no contrivance here, no imagination. Because in fact, we cannot imagine mind. Mind imagines us. This is something that we don't understand. But if we don't approach the practice from this viewpoint, how can we meditate? What can we do on the cushion? The body, like if you were going to go to New York and park your car in one of those $1 a day parking spaces, to see some field, and the car's getting parked there. It's doing nothing. Not even the lights are on. It's just there. This is not how we practice. This is not how we meditate. What is mind? You can't think of it, can you? That's good. Every once in a while, we get a class with somebody that's a know-it-all and start spouting off some kind of Western philosophy or whatever, but that's to no avail. Because we have to start from the premise of what is mind, not consciousness. How did this all come to be? This room, the wood, the lights, you sitting here. Something set it into motion, gave it an appearance. But we are neither separate from mind, nor are we mind. It cannot be talked about in this way. What is mind? We never bothered to think about that. This is the key question. What we should look at. But we always try to give it some kind of an explanation. Even we talk about noumenon and phenomenon and apparent reality and absolute reality and no mind, wu yin, all sorts of different things that we do. But we never just stop to think about mind. We cannot define mind. Mind defines us. When we sit on the cushion, what are we doing when we sit on the cushion? To become enlightened? To put away your suffering? To gain insight? Even if we gain insight, it's very temporary because this body will wither away. And all the while we gather this scholarly and intellectual understanding. I've got plenty. I've got stacks and stacks of paper. I probably copied enough Dharma articles to reach the moon. But none of it can tell me what mind is. This is something that you must come and explore. Anshan talks about this and says people practice, if I can find it. Listen to this. Generally speaking, in the Dharma ending age, this was like, what, 800 years ago? No, not quite, about 500-600 years ago. In the Dharma ending age, already it was a Dharma ending age, so we're getting even closer. There are more people who practice than who truly have a realization. Truly have a realization. What's the difference between the practice and having a realization? A realization is not something that we conjure up. We imagine, that we see, that we self-certify, that we have some kind of an experience. A true realization is letting go of the ego. Letting go of all of the appearances in samsara without abandoning them. This is skillful. Letting go of any attachment to here. But allowing the mind to define, to explain what is appearing. Not your consciousness, but mind. Consciousness can think of things in a very linear way, like one thing to another, to another, to another, to another thought. Mind is like a thunderclap. Just in that moment, it's all there. millions and millions and millions of kalpas are all folded in together into one moment. Everything is clear in that moment and explained. This is the realization. We may get little pieces of this realization. Moment to moment, sometimes we have them over a period of time, we get little insights. It's not bad, it's good as long as we don't hold on to it. It's like somebody who was a gold miner and ran into the smallest little nugget of gold and says, and now my career as a gold miner is over. I am satisfied with this little chunk of gold. It is that little chunk of gold that gives you the encouragement to dig deeper, to dig with more sincerity, more conviction, because you now have faith and you now know what is that which is to be sought. You have a feeling. If we don't practice in this way, if you are not taught in this way, you may waste this lifetime. I truly want you all to listen, to contemplate. When we sit on the cushion, it is contemplation, not you. You do not contemplate. You are being contemplated. Let me repeat that. You are being contemplated by mind. Does that mean there's two minds? There's only one true mind. This very mind that you're using right now to listen to me is the mind. But for over periods and periods of time, you have covered up with dust and dirt. And you even lost where to dig to find it. And like the foolish gold miner, just searching for one little nugget and being satisfied with it. Never knowing that where that miner stands, every single tiny grain of sand testifies to mind. Every single grain of sand was not put there by accident, but in accordance with cause and conditions. Mind created it, nothing else. Mind created what appears to be your ego. So long as you practice with the idea of an ego, you will be like the hamster in the proverbial little spinning wheel, just spinning, 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 spinning. Click, click, ding. Knock, knock, knock. Click, click, ding. Knock, knock, knock. Click, click, ding. Keep going and going and going. Getting nowhere. Continue. They do not exert their effort directly. They do not exert their effort directly and do not know the shortcut. Wow, he's so kind. He's telling us right now, hey, did you know that there's a shortcut? When I was practicing Qigong, my teacher, it was like a Qigong Kung Fu, and he would teach me all these exercises. And I'd do them for months. And then finally one day he told me, actually, you don't need to do that. He goes, you just need to go. And it's there. And I go, well, why didn't you tell me that in the beginning? He said, because you never would have understood it. You had to do that part first. And to build a foundation to do it. But He showed me the shortcut. It's there. And I can use it, but had I not cultivated, I could not get there. But there is a shortcut in Dharma. What do you think the shortcut is? Anybody know?
Right view.
I'm sorry?
Right view.
Right view. And what part of right view? What is essential to know? You guys come to my lectures all the time, you don't remember. Yeah, you must know.
To know that everything is created by the mind.
Yeah, to know all the Buddhas of the past, present, and future, and patriarchs. Perceive that all Dharma, God of nature, all phenomena is created by the mind. The wisdom is to know what is phenomena and what is the mind ground. The phenomena is not separate from the mind ground, but the phenomena itself only can produce additional phenomena, but it is not the intrinsic nature of the mind. It's only a function of it, an appearance within it. This is the tricky part. And I have to hold off, or else I'll get into a very scholarly examination of this, which, you know, is something that's kind of moving through me these days. But I don't want to lose you. But it is that everything is created by the mind, including what you perceive to be you that's listening. Mind is listening. The you that you believe is real is over on the phenomenal side. So it kind of gave me a board to write on. Because you're not. This is a drawing I draw all the time. So it's drawing number 31 for those of you using their catalog of my experience. Let's say that this is the mind ground, the Dharma. And over on this side, I don't know if you can see that or not. This is the knowing aspect of the mind, which we call Ruzit. Did I say it right? Really? Okay. So this is the knowing part. This is not your consciousness. Your consciousness is over here, in part of the Dharmakaya. It's not you. Your ego also appears over here. You're not over here. There's nothing in you that's looking at the mind ground. The mind ground is looking at you. But you have created a fiction that makes you think that you are here looking. And that it's you that's looking at all the phenomena. It is not that way. There is no you there. The Diamond Sutra says there is no ego, personality, or life and being. This does not exist. This is also a dream, it's illusion, and in fact, it's not here. This false perception is over here. So this I is over here looking at this stuff and thinking that it exists, but it's not. It's like some trespasser that comes onto a land and says, "This is my land," until the true owner comes and says, "No, you don't own this land. You never owned it. You just showed up here playing like you were the owner." It's over on this side in the Dharmakaya, the mind ground. And so this mind ground is a place where everything comes into being. It's created here. Sometimes they call it the Tathagata Garbha. Tathagata Garbha is thus come on, the embryo of the Buddha, the Buddha. And so it is where everything comes into being. This is a shortcut. Everything's created by the mind. We don't know that, so we're sitting there and we are within the mind ground, trying to create the mind ground. Think about this, or maybe not think about it, and contemplate it instead. We are trying to create the mind ground, which has created us. And we don't understand that. We can never make any sense of this at all, because we do not exist, truly do not exist. We are a creation of there. When I say exist, is that we cannot say that anything exists or doesn't exist. It is just simply that all of this, the knowing aspect of the mind and the Dharmakaya, it is totally inclusive. The appearances within it come and go. So we know that that's phenomenal. That's what we call apparent reality. Something that appears to be real, but it's not real. But because we constantly certify that it's real, this table is real, because I can knock on it and say this is wood. But if we don't do that, we cannot self-prove it that this table exists just simply because we knock on it. If we're in a dream and we knocked on it, would it be real? Our problem is that we confuse the ego to be the one that's knocking, the one that's perceiving. It isn't. It is an illusion. Go back and read the Diamond Sutra. It keeps telling you all these things are illusions, that they're not real. So we cling to this here, and we suffer because we, as sentient beings, are not good at creating the world. Really, we're vast underachievers. You go, can I use your pen? No, it's my pen. Get your own pen. Right? In my food, get your own food. My rockets. No, that I can blow you up with. Why? Because I can. We're not very good at creating the world. We believe that's to be real, but it's a dream. Mind is a very interesting topic because mind is not just simply a void where there's no caring there. That is why the Heart Sutra changed everything. From before what was real to the Heart Sutra saying Guan Yin Bodhisattva is talking to Sariputta. Sariputta was the main proponent of the Theravada school. Everything is real. And Guan Yin is coming in, not Manjushri, because this was a wisdom sutra. It's called the Heart Sutra. Because beyond all of that, this emptiness is not the emptiness that you think. There is an interest in this emptiness, that there is something there. We don't know what that is. We couldn't possibly think what it is. But when we apply wisdom, and the Heart Sutra is a wisdom factory, it produces wisdom, and the product of that wisdom is compassion. We don't know how that works completely. I'm not going to tell you and say, oh, you know, we do this and you put 10 drops of wisdom in, you're going to get one drop of compassion out. No, it doesn't work that way. You put 10 drops of wisdom, you have unlimited compassion. Because the wisdom multiplies by the infinite, by letting go of the idea of the self, by letting go of any idea of anything being permanently real. We need to know this if we're going to meditate. If we're going to meditate, we need to know what we're doing on the cushion. We can't just sit there and meditate and think that something is going to happen. If anything happens, it would just be some kind of another dream, not the reality of things that are. So what appears to be real is not real. What appears to be not real is real. Keep that in your mind. Keep using that in your head. Keep seeing the world this way. When you see things, you say, this is not real. It's real. We cannot know that. But the shortcut is you're using it right now. The very thing that you're searching for, you're using right now. Master Ling Chi said, in these days, people cut off their head and then they proceed to look for it. What does he mean? He means that when we meditate, we want to stop thinking. And when we stop thinking, then we begin to try to look for our true nature. The term Wu Yen, or no thinking or non-thinking, is not in the way that you think it is. Wu Yen is simply that we don't attach to thoughts. The mind is always thinking of something. But that can be Wu Yen. Since I started this lecture, it's a state of Wu Yen. I'm not thinking. Of course, I'm thinking about what I'm going to say next or where this is going, but it's still spontaneous. None of this I've written down. It is coming out from the heart. That's Wu Yen. There's no attachment to it or me thinking, oh, what I'm saying is so sagacious or so wise or whatever. It's just coming out because to me, this is the function. This is that. And I use my awareness to try to fashion what I'm saying to be meaningful to you. Meaningful in a way that interests you in contemplating what is mine. When you are sitting to meditate, you are just simply resting the mind in its own awareness. It's a mind stew you're making. What is in the mind stew? Anybody know what's in the mind stew? Fayen could tell you. Nobody knows what's in the mind stew? Mind. What is the substance of this mind? Mind. What is the primary meaning of the mind? Mind. We don't understand that, so we just put that to the side. That's a senior class. I'm only a sophomore right now. I'll take that later on. No, you learn it right now. You go to the head of the class. You begin to learn that all of this is together. Everything that's there, even the foulest of appearances in mind, are still mine. Mind created it. It's why the sutras say that the Buddhas used the defilements of sentient beings to practice. And you go, what? How is that? How does that even make any sense? Because you don't see it in the right way. The defilements of sentient beings are illusory. But if you went to sleep and you had a dream, a bad dream. Anybody have a bad dream last night? No? You did? A little more? All right. Who's at fault?
Is that fault?
Yeah, who caused the dream? Did you? Because if you caused the dream, you could certainly not cause it, right? Just will yourself not to have bad dreams. What I do. It works like 99.9% of the time. No. But it's something that I don't ask for good dreams or bad dreams. The dreams are an illusion, but we use the charm practice even in sleep. So you do not create the dream. You are not the dreamer. You're the dream. But you believe that you dreamed last night. Then who's dreaming now? It's very interesting. It gets to be like one of those kind of quirky Japanese Zen type things, you know. Are you the butterfly or is the butterfly dreaming of you or whatever? It doesn't matter. The thing is that we have to see the things as they are, as they clearly are what's happening. That we take the ego, the you, out of the equation. The dream happens in accordance with Pratika Samappada, cause conditions never fail. So you should not have a dream that's foreign to you. You know, I dreamed I was dressed up like a bee, you know, and whatever you did, you know, I was at my work dressed up like a bee. Said, no, that doesn't make sense. You know, why would you have that kind of dream? You know, unless you're kind of weird. But you wouldn't have that dream. You have a dream that pertains to something in your life, something good, something bad, or whatever. With it, everything's in accordance with cause and condition. The very first lesson that the Buddha taught was the 12 nidanas. Pratika Samappada, causes and conditions never fail. And the first nidana is ignorance. The ignorance that we believe that we are a life and being, that we're real, that we're not a dream. And you go, okay, that's fine. I accept that for you, and then you know, but for me, I'm real. You know, and if I'm going to say that to a group, you know, they'll be going, you know, get behind me, Satan. No, this is like they don't want to hear that. That's frightening. That you don't exist. Oh, wait. I'm not telling you you don't exist. You at least qualify for apparent reality. But you're not separate from mind. But you're not the fundamental intrinsic nature of mind. You're created by the fundamental intrinsic nature of the mind as a dream, a bubble in a stream, a dewdrop on a leaf, flash of light in a summer cloud. This is you. They used to have a program a long time ago, black and white TV, called This Is Your Life. And so you would be on there, this is your life. And they can show you as a bubble in the stream or a flash of light in the summer cloud. Well, isn't there more? You want something more. This is your life. And isn't it that way? Do you remember when you were a child? Remember? Like that, right? just a flash of lightning in the summer cloud, and all of a sudden now you're old. How the heck did that happen? Yesterday I was riding the bike, and today they're pushing me on a wheelchair. How did that happen? But for some reason, we cling to this ignorance. That's why the Buddha, when he came out of it, he said, first of all, I got to, you know, that there's good news and bad news. And good news and bad news. You know, and so what's the bad news? You don't exist. Well, then what's the good news? You don't have to suffer. And so, what's the bad news? You're a bubble in a stream. Then what's the good news? You're infinite light. You are part of the Ratna Gotra clan. Ratna being the highest. So you already do. You go before the Buddha, you check your credentials. You know, all I got is an expired license and his library card. Oh, but look, you belong to the Ratna clan. You're used to the Buddha mind, right? Yeah. All right, you're in. Not bad. Not bad. It's like one of those cheap softball ads, you know, commercials on TV. You're in. You're all in. That's the good news. Bad news is you have to leave yourself at the door. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And that's the problem. Yesterday I was talking to one of my friends that remembered, I used to always use this example of let's make a deal. And how many of you don't know what Let's Make a Deal is? It was a TV program. Raise your hand if you don't know. You don't know. So it was a program where they would have it was a game show, and they would say, okay, you know, you could have here what I have here, which is $100, or you could have what's behind curtain 1, 2, or 3. And then the people would always pick the curtain. They would even want the shirt thing that's right here. And they pick the curtain. And then there was a donkey behind, right? And they always made the wrong choice. I choose myself. Why? I want to die. You're going to die anyway. The very fact that you were born, you're going to die. That's the good news and the bad news. The good news is you're going to come back again. Shufu used to always say that. It's not a bad deal. You trade in an old car and get a new car. But people go, I don't want to die. But they always pick the wrong one. What was funny was I was watching this program on comedians, and it was kind of a series on the trials and tribulations, and they went on the Let's Make a Deal program because they were still trying to break in, but they got news that they were using contestants, so they went on there, and the first gift they got was a year's supply of ramen noodles, which they're like, we can do that. At least we're guaranteed we're not going to starve in the next year. And then they said, okay, the last one, they go, okay, what do you want to get this gift here that's clear, or one of the curtains? And they picked the curtain, and there was a donkey behind it. It was just like, I knew I could watch a good get donkey behind it. Sure enough, there was a donkey behind it. And then, you know, what are you going to do with the donkey? You know, but that's how we choose. We choose the donkey all the time. We don't choose the Buddha. We can reverse that because we use the Buddha mind. We have inherently the wisdom to choose brother. If we only wake up. We cannot do that clinging to samsara. The shortcut is to know that this very mind that you have that creates everything around you is not other than the Buddha mind. When you sit on your cushion to meditate, you sit with the Buddha mind. You don't have to define it. You just have to rest there with the Buddha mind. This is right view. So the right view is the shortcut. You're right. It is, but it is the shortcut that the mind creates it. That's important. If you're sitting and you don't understand that, you're wasting your time. You have to practice in this way. Now, I'm definitely behind the program now because I've only gone to 2.5 lines on the various articles I was going to read to you. But that's just the way it is. Instead, many people fill their minds with past knowledge and words based on what they've heard or measure their means by emotional discrimination. I don't want to die. Or suppress daily thoughts. I don't even want to think about dying. Or they dazzle themselves with visionary astonishment at their sensory gates. That's the worst one. That they dazzle themselves and then they become self-affirmed, enlightened people. I'm enlightened. Who told you you're enlightened? I'm clearly enlightened. Once one young man went to Shifo, Master Shinrin, and he said, Shifo, I want to tell you I'm enlightened. And the Shifo was asking him, well, how do you feel? Does it feel heavy? Does it feel light? Does it feel this way? And so the boy started getting confused because he started worrying, am I going to pass the enlightenment test, right? And so he finally said to Shifo, you asking me all these questions, like as if you don't believe I'm enlightened. And then Shifo just shrugged his shoulders and said, well, enlightened people don't behave like you. And so there was just kind of like a foolishness there because the person probably had reached unified mind or something like that, and or just tricked his mind by these dazzling things at the sensory gates. And so as a result of that, he thought he had this enlightening experience, but it isn't in this way. These people dwell on the words of the ancient ones in their mind and take them to be real. Furthermore, they cling to these words as if they're their own view. Little do they know that none of these are the least bit useful. This is what is called grasping at others' understanding and clouding one's own entrance to enlightenment. And then just read a little bit more of this one. It says, in order to engage in the practice, you must first sever knowledge and understanding and single-mindedly exert all your efforts on one thought. Have a firm conviction in your own true mind that originally it is pure and clear, without the slightest lingering thing. It is bright and perfect and predates through all the Dharma Dhatsu. Intrinsically, there is no body, mind, or world, nor are there any deluded thoughts or emotional conceptions. Right at this moment, this single thought is itself unborn. Everything that manifests before you now are illusory and insubstantial, all of which are reflections projected from the true mind. So you're a real projection. Okay, so you can take that away with you. So you take your 1 year supply of top ramen with you, that you're a real projection. So it's consolation prize. Or you can exchange that for infinite clear light. Which one you choose? You choose the Buddha or you choose ignorance. Why do we do that? Why do we continually choose the ignorance? We always choose the bum curtain with the junk behind it. Even though we know that we shouldn't do that, but we do it anyway. It's like this lady, I'm an attorney by trade. This lady came in and she had had a divorce and some real property, and that's how I got to, because I do a lot of real property. But I saved her from her husband who got a divorce, and the husband was trying to steal this property from her that she had brought into the marriage. And I got it back for her. So 2 years later, she comes back to me and says, I have a problem. And she wants a divorce. Well, lo and behold, after she got the property, she remarried this guy. And then gave him thousands of dollars to buy a property, but only put it in his name. Go figure. Why would you do that? And I went like, and she, don't do that. My son did that. And I go, look, for good reason. I mean, this doesn't make any sense. You're doing the same ignorant things and expecting a different result. This is the world. This is this world. Why would we do something like that? Doesn't make any sense at all. But yet it happened. Can you say you've never done anything like her before in your life? You know, and you keep yourself, oh, I can't believe I did that again, right? And but we do. And then we expect a different result because we're ignorant. So when you go home and say, what did Gilbert teach you? He said, I'm ignorant. But he did say I'm the food of life. They said, I don't know, you look kind of dim to me. So, all right, let's go. So we go tonight till 9:30.
(9:30) is the end of today.
9:30.
Is
So I can go a little longer.
yeah,
Yeah, because I want to continue on with, and I only got to the very first little quote. What I'm trying to do is lace all this stuff together, so it makes sense from different masters, different parts, so that you can see how it all fits together. Those who study the Dharma of the Buddhas these days should approach it with the true and proper understanding. So this is Master Ling Chi, my favorite of all masters. He didn't take any baloney from anybody. He just said it the way it was. I just absolutely love the way he speaks so directly and talking about how we should direct our mind. And this is important because you will see this. I'll give you a quote. Well, I don't bring the book, but I'll do it from memory. That they, from the Dharmata Vibhaka Sutra, and it's Maitreya Milako that's being quoted and saying that if you need to direct your mind in the proper way. This is a very important point because it's brought up by many masters talking about how you should direct your mind. What does direct your mind mean? This is a key. When you say you direct your mind, when you're sitting on your cushion, you direct your mind to rest the mind. It's more child. You're just sitting there silent. You're not doing anything. You're not flapping your arms like a bird. You know, you're not humming. You're not doing anything. You're just simply sitting. How hard can that be? To simply sit. But no, we want to go through the reruns of all the different things that have happened in your life, your trials and tribulations, your victories, mostly your trials and tribulations and things that happen and whatever. And then you think like you're in a triage at some hospital doing an injury report on your body. Yes, my ankles are hurting me now, my back's hurting me, you know, all these things are happening, it's getting worse, you know, and your body's yelling at you, hey, what's going on up there? Can't you see these legs are dying? You know, and you have all these discussions. No, that's not how you direct your mind. You direct your mind, just let it sit. What if you direct your mind just to sit and see what comes up? What comes up? What will come up if you just sit there? It's an easy one. Here, what comes up when you just sit there?
What comes up?
Yeah,
Whatever's happening.
mostly a lot of flotsam and jetsam. A bunch of stuff like in the ocean after a storm, there's a bunch of foam and junk and seaweed and whatever that's floating by. Why you put it there? Because you created the storm. So you're going to see all the stuff there, or you think you created it, but it's naturally coming by. All the different things that you cling to, whether it's a desire, I want this, I want this car, I want this man, I want this woman, I don't want this woman, you can have my husband, or whatever it is, you know, I give them for free, put them up in a rummage sale, whatever it is, you know, all these things are coming up in your mind. I'm not talking about anybody here, okay? It's like, well, it's purely fictional characters. Okay, but in any case, all that stuff's coming up. Why? Because it's naturally arising. You put it there. You think that if you sit to meditate, that all of that's just going to go away. No, because the Buddha even told us causes and conditions never fail. All this stuff will arise because we have a tap. And what I think Panchal was saying was emotional discriminations. So these come up from these emotional discriminations, good things and bad things. And you think if I would say something like a donut, if you like the donut, then the chances are the donut's going to come up when you're sitting there, a big giant donut. And when I used to start talking about donuts and stuff like that, and I'd say, how many people like donuts? And then, how many of you like donuts? Let's take the test. Raise your hand if you like donuts. Only two. How many of you lying? No, because before, no Chinese, you raise your hand, but then after a while, if you all raise your hand, I'm like, oh my God, you guys are all going to hell now. You've been corrupted by the American culture to like donuts. I don't know about you guys now. All right. But it naturally arises. It's okay. It is okay that those things come up in your mind. Because they're naturally coming up. It's like if you had put like an inch of dirt in a jar of water, and you took a stick and went like this, for a long time the water would be mucky and dirty. But little by little, as you watched it, it would just become clear, because everything would settle down. If you took the stick in it again or stirred it, it would get dirty again. So what do? We don't stir the stick. We don't stir it. We just let it be. But we always choose that. Like, is there any more thought? Oh, you better believe it. Not only is this, but this and this, and how are you going to pay that bill? And what are you going to do about that? And whatever. You asked, right? So then you shook the stick and more junk comes up. You don't have to shake it. When you're sitting to meditate, you just sit quietly. Let everything go by. It's like this moving life buffet line. You guys know what a buffet is, right? Where there's all sorts of different food you can get. And you're just seeing this buffet go by. Some of, oh, yeah, I don't like that one. Oh, look, jello. No, I don't want jello. I'll wait for the strawberry pie or whatever, you know. And so then something comes up, oh, a cherry pie, take that one. You know, now the buffet line stops while you concentrate on the cherry pie, right? And so you're looking at it and you start thinking about it, even your mouth may start watering because you stop the whole buffet line because of that. But if you go, no, just go back, then the buffet line starts moving again, looking for something that that might attract you or stir an emotion. It doesn't have to be something that attracts you. It could be something that disgusts you or angers you even more, right? Something that angers you. I can't believe my boss called me stupid. You know, she, and then you go on with that, right? You take the pay. You don't have to cheat your boss isn't even here. We told them to go to work. They don't call it stupid. Okay. Was very funny because I was saying this. The very first time I met the group in Connecticut was after a retreat, and they had come to the DDRC, and I held a little class for them there, and they were all in front of me, and I was talking to them, and I said, you know, whatever you do, even if you think your boss is stupid, don't tell him he's stupid, you know, or you could lose your job. And they're all looking at me like that. And then when they're driving me to the airport, if you know, when you said that thing about it, you know, the person in the front, he just called his boss stupid and he got fired. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it was like reality that happened that way. And so everybody was looking, how did you know that? I didn't know that he did that, but it just came out that way. But the thing is that we don't take those discriminations, those emotions. Those emotions oftentimes, even if there's not pictures of thoughts in your mind, it's like a juvenile delinquent looking to pick a fight with somebody. Did you ever know somebody like that in school? Some bully that's just looking to find, did you look at me wrong? I'm sure you looked at me wrong. Are you calling me a liar now? Okay, after school, we're going outside. I'm gonna beat you up. I didn't say anything. But it's that way, all of a sudden we get engaged and do that. So we just leave it alone. When all these emotions come up, they're looking to fix on something. Sometimes there's no appearances in the mind, but they're looking to attach. Those are the most insidious. Those are the emotional discriminations. Something, oh, you know, I want to love, or I want this, or I want to eat this, or it doesn't matter, whatever it is, something, or the people that don't have patience. I'm going, what's that doubling? And they're looking for something to be impatient about. Because these things are arising. We can't see that because it hasn't yet attached to something. But it's there looking for a fight. They're looking for a connection. And it's there, you know, whatever it is. And you have to let that go. Those emotions that are rising, sometimes they're just naked emotions. They're not attached to anything, they're just looking for something to attach to. We have to be able to use our subtle wisdom to let those go by too. Those are the ones that look like an empty tray in the buffet line. But if you look closer, it's like going like, this is stupid. Why are you looking at the buffet line? You should be meditating. Don't look at me. And now you're getting in a fight with an empty tray in the buffet line. Don't go through those things because those emotions, they're there and they're looking to cause a trouble or to lure you off or say, you know, it could be, none of this stuff in the buffet line looks attractive to you. What's really attractive is the peace of mind that you have right now. You're so relaxed. You're so damn enlightened right now. You're so calm, everything. And you're sitting there like that. You never even seen that the wind or the curtain was picked for you. And you're the donkey. We have to use our awareness, our intrinsic awareness to see through these things. We have to stay awake. If we don't stay awake, then we turn into the dream, like some weird 1950 sci-fi movie, those black and white ones. There used to be one that Invasion of the Body Snatchers. I know that you guys have no idea what I'm talking about. I don't know ever seen Invasion of the, or so I'm only talking to 4 people. There was a thing about the spaceship that comes down and they comes to this little farming town and I don't know why it went there, but if they're gonna take over the way you think they wouldn't go to some little port up town to take over it. But anyway, so the people are there and they if they fell asleep, they would turn into one of the aliens, and the aliens were carrying around these pods and they put them underneath the bed. You couldn't see a big giant ear of corn about this big underneath the bed. But if you fell asleep, then you turned into the aliens and they were controlling you, and you would walk around looking like you're normal, but you were governed by them. And that's the same thing you do. You're being controlled, and you're actually asleep, but you think that you're walking around. But it's just this pod that's there. Believe me, I'm trying my best to use anything I can to do this. But the analogy is one that you think that you are the same person, but you're not. Your true identity is you're not an alien, you're not a human. You're Buddha. You're using the Buddha mind. But we don't see that. Huh? It's like somebody, has a bologna sandwich and they go, oh my God, it's a bologna sandwich. And the other person has this wonderful ham sandwich or something, and say, hey, it's kind of hard for me to give up my bologna sandwich, but I'll trade you for your ham sandwich. This is so good. Well, okay. And you choose the wrong curtain. And you just about it and you go, this is bologna. I told you it's bologna from the beginning. You never believed me, you chose the wrong curtain. And so the thing is that when you're sitting, this is going to stick on you. You just go, don't choose the wrong curtain. Rest. And then all these other thoughts are going to come. It's okay if you have thoughts and you see Gilbert behind you going, don't do that. Just so you get used to seeing what's coming up in mind and practicing. And then I will be going by as part of the buffet line going, on your way. You don't need me anymore. But the thing is that you have to know what you're doing on the cushion. You have to know that this very mind that you're using is what you're looking for. It is the Buddha mind. We don't know that. We can't see that. But if you can see that, and if you know how to do it, you can practice well. You have to really discipline yourself. I'm using a very unusual way to explain this to you. Half deep Dharma and half sci-fi movies, from the 50s. But there's a reason, because I want you to kind of see how silly it is, to do this. So the choice is not a hard choice to make. But we have to stay awake. When we're sitting there on the cushion, we have to stay awake. We have to keep the mind there. We have to learn how to keep the mind calm and not fall asleep. Oh, this feels so good. And you start falling asleep because you haven't rested in a long time. It's been 15 years since I've been able to stop myself from suffering. And you fall asleep. That's natural too. But that's not illumination. You want to keep the mind awake. So keep your mind awake. Okay? Keep it awake. So he says, if you approach it with a true and proper understanding, you won't be affected by considerations of birth and death. you'll be free to go or stay as you please. That's pretty good. You can go, where are you going? I'm gonna go to Nevada, or where you going? I'll come back here, because there's some work to do. I want to keep cleaning up, I haven't finished for the day, but this body's used up, but I'll come back and straighten out the house. My house anyway. You're living in the Buddha's house. So wouldn't the Buddha want to keep it clean? That's exactly what the Buddha did. That is Anuttara Samyaksambodhi. The Buddha wants to clean up its own house. It has compassion. Buddha has compassion for Buddha. You're an illusory sentient dream. You're a dreamer, but the Buddha doesn't want to have that dream. Think about this. Kind of interesting little twist on everything. What do you think of that one, Harry?
The Buddha, I didn't catch it.
The Buddha is cleaning up the Buddha's house. And so this compassion the Buddha has is different than the compassion of sentimental compassion for sentient beings. Because by cleaning out the house, does it have compassion for the sentient beings, or does it have compassion for appearances within there of these nonsensical dreams in its own house?
Compassion for suffering,
Of what?
the illusion.
But there is no suffering.
We think there is.
Yeah, it's very interesting, but I'm saying this not to be disrespectful or anything, but to challenge you to look further than where you think it is, because you're at the profound, but you've got to go even deeper than that, and kind of like, oh, wait a minute, you think what you're saying, was he just being silly, or was there something deep there? What is this compassion? What kind of compassion is this? But the idea is that we're practicing in the wrong way. We're practicing that we want this sentient being to become enlightened, which cannot happen. Because the sentient being is an illusion. We know that from all the sutras talking about that. But it is awakening. There is an awakening. The awakening is from the Buddha mind, not from the sentient being. The awakening is the awakening that the sentient being does not truly exist. So it's very interesting that you have to kind of work on this. This is like postgraduate work in Buddha studies, but it makes a difference. It makes a difference. If you can do this, if you can do this, it can change things dramatically for you. And it says, you don't have to strive for benefits. Benefits will come of themselves. And that's exactly the way it is. You don't have to look and go like, how far do I get? Or, okay, I didn't play the game. What do I win? You win nothing. Wasn't that what Emperor Wu said to Bodhidharma, when Bodhidharma came from India? He said, I've erected all these stupas. I've done this. I've supported all these monastics. Tell me what I got. And Dharma said, you get anything. And he's going like, well, that's a chip. Why am I supporting all you Chinese people, all these Chinese people here and teaching them Indian stuff, and I got nothing from it? But that's the way it is. That's the pill that he had to take. And Dhamma would have been remiss in his duties. He wouldn't have been a very good Dhamma teacher had he told him, oh, you got great things. You're going to be a 10th level bodhisattva, that you're going to, in the next lifetime, become a Buddha. And then he'd go off and be more stuff. But no, because what he told them survived to this day. It's precious. But if he would have told them that he was going to be, beyond the 10th bhumi or the 9th bhumi or whatever, and become a Buddha in the next lifetime, he said, that's nonsense. That's the difference, that's the value of things. They're very, very precious. Okay, I'll stop there. I didn't get very far, I'm sorry. But we'll continue on. This is what you're gonna get in, for this time period. I mean, I've got a lot of stuff that I can go through, but what I'm trying to do is give you viewpoints from different masters and different sutra along the way, so that you can see how to do it. The common thread in all of this has to do with how it applies to when you sit on the cushion, how you meditate. Okay, I really want you to meditate properly, and so this will help you with that. You know, if I just give you the ABCs, you know, sit, cross your legs, hold your head up, don't fall asleep. You know, you've heard that before, and you know that's not going to get you there. But if you practice sincerely and you listen sincerely, it will make a big difference. Okay? Any questions for it? No questions? Okay. All right. So they can sit for a while then.
30 minutes.
Okay.